Today we're going to cover probability and statistics, a little bit of an introduction. Now we're not going to go into great detail, but we are going to get introduced to some big topics, and this is day 81 foldable. Let's hop into it with me. Now, the probability is the likelihood something that will or won't happen. Think about if you're flipping a coin. It's either going to land on heads or it's going to land on tails. You got a 50-50 chance. So what does that mean? It's either going to happen or it won't. So that means there's a 50% chance that it's going to, land on heads and a 50% chance it's going to land on tails. So that's what they call a 50-50 shot. Today we're going to look at some more examples, except for the examples today is not going to be in percentages. We're going to talk about them using either A, fractions, or B, ratios, which is pretty much the same thing. So below on your notes, we have a spinner, and we're going to look, and based off the question, the numerator is going to be how often is it going to happen? Like, what's the possibility? And the denominator, excuse me again, that's going to be all the possible choices. So what's the likelihood that the spinner is going to land on a 3? Well, there's 4 choices. There's only one time that it's going to be 3. So that's a 1 in 4 chance, or a 1 to 4 chance. Well, what about an odd number? Well, there's 1 in 3. Those are my odd numbers. So there's a 2 out of 4 chance it's going to happen, but I could simplify that down into 1/2. Or a number less than 10. That's all of them. So that means it's a 4 out of 4 chance, or a 1 to 1, or if you want to use a ratio, it's also a 1 to 1. Let's go try some more. Now, here we have a 6-sided die or a dice. So you have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You're going to have to imagine some of the sides. So what's the possibility of rolling a number greater than 4? Well, there's 2 options that it could be. There's 6 possible, so that's 2 to 6. If I simplified that, it would be 1 to 3. What's the possibility of rolling an odd or an even number? Well, that's all of them. So that's a 6 to 6, or a 1 to 1 chance. That means it's going to happen no matter what you do. Rolling an even number greater than 3, well, the even numbers are 4 and 6. So it's a 2 to 6. I simplify that. That's a 1 to 3 or a 1 to 3. Now the next thing where it gets a little bit trickier is what happens if there's a 2-part question. I want you to pause the video, write your prediction on what do you think will happen and why do you think that. Now that you're back, let's talk about what actually happens. Now to find it, all you have to do is multiply the 2 options it could be. So let's work some example problems. What's the chance of rolling an even number twice? We'll have the numbers 2, 4, and 6, so that's a 3 out of 6 chance. And if I do it twice, that's 3 times 3 over 6 times 3 over 6. I simplify that, and I multiply that, and it's just a multiplying fractions problem. So there's a 1 out of 4 chance, or 1 to 4 chance that it's actually going to happen. What's the chance of rolling an odd number? That's a 3 out of 6. And then rolling a 2. Well, that can only happen one time, so that's a 1 to 6. Then I have to multiply across, or multiply. I simplify across first. And if I multiply it out, I get a 1 to 12, like 1 out of 12 option. Now, this is where you're going to pause the video. You're going to see if you can work out everything. And then you're going to come back and watch me, and you're going to see how I got the answers. Make sure on these that you are, you're multiplying because you have 2 possible answers. And all of this is just a fraction and decimal understanding. as we're getting kind of towards the end. If you haven't done so yet, obviously like and follow. But more importantly than that, if you have any questions about this video, just leave it in the comments and I can try to answer them to the best of my ability. Like I said, this is just an introduction lesson. We're going to do more later.